Welcome back, man, to the Role Player Podcast, the live show, first ever, the inaugural edition. I am Jordan Taylor, EuroLeague and Euro Cup vet, 12-year pro out of University of Wisconsin. Always rolling with my guy, the Stanford gentleman, founder, co-founder, CEO, all the big dog shit stuff over there at
Gotta
Swish
get us
Cultures,
canceled.
man. Yeah, I know. I'm about to get
This is
us
a
canceled
family
right off
It's
the
a
rip.
family
Isn't
show.
it? Yo, we a family show now. As soon as we go live, we a family show. We ain't never
Yeah, that's
been a
right.
family show. But listen, man, our guest today, and I'm gonna go ahead and just announce it and call my shot. Our new co-host is a guy, man, had a very illustrious career. He was the Alabama Mr. Basketball in 2005. Spent his career at the University of Alabama, was the second round pick to the Golden State Warriors. He also played several years overseas with Maccabi Tel Aviv, won several awards over there. Where else? I could go on and on and on, man, but that was just the beginning of it. Spanish Super Cup winner. He was a D League back when it was the D League All-Star, Israeli League All-Star, first team All ACC going all the way back to college, a McDonald's All-American, a first team All Parade All-American, and really just a stand-up guy, man. You know, and now a college basketball analyst with ESPN and SEC Network, the one and only Richard Hendrix, man. What's going on, man? You good?
Hey, I appreciate. Hey, I like that. I appreciate y'all having me on, man, and looking forward to it.
My boy having technical difficulties.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, my man having mic problems. We're gonna have to wait till you get back in, man. But I guess we gonna slide forward without him, man. So what's happening with how you been keeping up with the Olympics? Did you see the opening ceremony?
Man, I was just tuning into it a few minutes ago. I was looking at all these people coming in on all the boats and the rain and whatnot. I mean, so I'm excited. I'm looking forward to seeing all this. I've been watching Olympics my entire life, so it's gonna be fun.
Yo, did you see South Sudan and how they was dripped down?
I didn't see it. What they have on?
Oh man, I can't even describe it, man. It was real ethnic. It was real ethnic. They did black folk is up today, man. We up today, man. It was real ethnic, man. It was dope. It was dope what they had on. They had us. What you think about Brian and them and they sport coats and whatnot?
Man, I saw a little bit of it. I mean, you couldn't really see it when they on the boats and had the ponchos on in the rain. But, I mean, I guess it's fashion. But, I mean, credit to him to be able to be the flag bearer. I mean, that's a big time achievement with so many people in the country and in the Olympics. So really good.
Yeah, nah. I mean, I think it's dope they gave LeBron. I actually went back and I looked at like a list of like all the flag bearers since like the 90s, man. And it's kind of dope that they spread the love a little bit. I mean, they have it, it'd be somebody from like crew, a whole bunch of Olympic sports we probably don't even recognize, man. But it's dope that they spreading the love like that. What's your favorite Olympic sport outside of basketball?
I got to go with the track and field. I mean, the track and field for me, because it's a sport that everybody can do. Everybody can run. You might not run fast, but everybody can run. When you see the skill and the elite athleticism on display, it's something, it's really, really, special, really something.
Yeah, and I think it's dope because even for like, I guess like the shorter sprints, like the 100-yard or the 100-meter dash, like you got to think people was getting hyped for 10 seconds of work, 9 seconds, you know what I mean? But it's still exciting, man. I think that and swimming for whatever reason. I don't even swim, but swimming is fire to me, man. I'll sit there and watch swimming, gymnastics. I feel like the Olympics bring the sport fan out of you didn't know you had.
Right. I mean, it's so many sports that you don't get a chance to see. I mean, in the early stage, you see stuff like archery and all types of sand volleyball. I mean, things that I've never even participated in. But just as a sports fan, you get a chance to see all of these high-level athletes just really compete on all the stuff. I mean, I just love it. I've been watching it since 1992 with the Dream Team. I remember in that opening ceremony, I remember seeing the guy shoot the arrow up into the torch and set the Olympic flame on fire. I thought that's what it was going to be every single year. until the next 4 years when, Muhammad Ali in Atlanta and it goes up that little wire to light the Olympic torch. I mean, so it's something I always look forward to. But like you mentioned, the track and field, I mean, watching Usain Bolt in his prime, watching the relays when they run the 4x1, I mean, that's just an electric moment. You waiting the whole time, and then you get 9 seconds and see the man run the fast he can. I mean, that's just incredible to see.
Yeah, and I think it's also dope to see like you take like Jamaica, for instance, small as a country as they are, just to see how successful they are in one particular sport. And, you'll see another country and they're super successful in one sport. And I always just wonder, like, how did they become so elite without, let's just say, or presumably without the same type of resources that we got, in the States? Like, it's wild to me.
Definitely so. I mean, it definitely, when they're committed to one particular sport, I mean, because you don't see them necessarily do it across the board, but they dominate the track. I mean, I even look at that. You look at a guy like Johan Blake. If it wasn't for Usain Bolt, this guy would probably be one of the best sprinters of all time. I mean, so many small countries that you don't really get to see on a regular basis every 4 years when they get an opportunity to display what they can do. I mean, it's just got to be a joy to watch for those people in those countries. And I like watching it as well.
Yo, so who would you say is the best non-basketball Olympic athlete?
I got to go with Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
I mean, just when you talk about the winning and all the different disciplines of swimming, I mean, swimming is already so difficult, but just the way that he goes out there and crushes the opponents in every single, style, the freestyle, the butterfly, everything he does. I mean, it's just incredible to see him do it for a long period of time. I mean, so many people don't even understand how big an Olympic-sized pool is. I don't even know if I can make it from one end to another, And him just with the endurance and doing it for so long, I think that's special to see.
Yeah, nah, for sure, man. Yo, JT, you good, bro?
I don't know. There's technical difficulties. Can you hear me?
It's probably because you got that bum ass hat on. You know what I mean?
What is that?
I'm back. I'm back. Can you hear me? Y'all can hear me now?
London Lions was sponsored by Kappa
I'm
this
back
past
in
year.
time. London Lions and Swish Cultures and the Role Player Podcast sponsor, brought to you by Vibes Golf Club. Go check it out. Changing the game in the golf space. Got a big partnership with the PGA Tour while you talking crazy. I'm back ready to take control of my show. So what I miss, man? What I miss?
We just talk about just different Olympic sports and just the best non-basketball Olympic athlete of all time. We said Mike Phelps. Who you think?
Y'all drunk. And that was gonna be my favorite topic today. Y'all said Michael Phelps, huh? I seen the ESPN article came out and y'all just copied whatever they said. Rich tends to do that and copy Stephen A. Smith a lot. So anyway, like I was saying, you're gonna get your turn. You're gonna get your turn. You're gonna get your turn. What did Shaq say? It's 1, 2, 3, not 1, 2, back to 1. Wait your turn now. So listen, like I was saying, man, my favorite athlete of all time, Olympic sport athlete of all time is easy. That's Usain Bolt. Is not close, is not a question. But if you take out the obvious, honestly, I'm a big fan of Shelly Ann Fraser Price. She's dominant. She's probably one of the most underrated Olympic athletes of all time, if we're being honest.
Fair enough. Well, I appreciate your 2 cents, my brother.
Yeah. Rich, why? Go ahead, Rich. What was you gonna say? You had something to say.
I'm just listening. Listen, I love Bolt too, but we all can run, and it's impressive to see someone run that fast. But when you talk about the swimming, he's doing so many different things and dominating everybody in it for so many years. I mean, to me, that's impressive. You see that many gold medals. It's impressive.
Hey, wasn't Phelps like juicing though?
Look. You see how he got quiet?
I want to say I heard he was juicing or something, man. But I'm all for it. I think they gotta bring the drugs in some sports back. You know what I mean? I think it make it more entertaining.
For sure.
Baseball
in the 90s.
Baseball for sure. Baseball for sure. You got to bring the steroids back.
Hey man. Hey man, you talk about getting us canceled.
I'm not condoning that, but I'm just saying it was a better time.
You're not condoning. You advocating for. You advocating. That's even worse. Did y'all get to so y'all talked about athlete. Did you get to the favorite Olympic sport? Because when I was doing man, you late. Move on. No, we coming back. For those that don't know, because I'm gonna get my credits in. For those of y'all that don't know, I am the executive producer, the host, and the owner of the show in collaboration with Anthony Goods. I just want to put that out there. But this was gonna be my favorite topic. So what we say for sport?
Track.
That's track.
Track and field, yeah.
All right, but that's too easy. Get off like the easy answer. Like this is supposed to be.
Well, he said the favorite to looking forward to watching.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is fair. I get it. I get it. But what's
I say swimming too, though.
Let's take out track and field. Let's take out basketball. And you know what? We're gonna throw out gymnastics too. And tell me your favorite sport. Get in your bag and figure and tell me what's your favorite kind of your dark horse sport. We'll go with that.
Who's going first? Me?
Yeah, the guest always goes first around here.
All
But
right.
I know you the
dark horse. You know what I like to watch? Because I like to watch Olympic handball because I don't see it too often. And I like the physicality that they have. It's like when they get inside that arc, it's like you're not getting in there. You know, me being a big man, it's like I love to see it's like you're not going to get inside that arc and get an easy bucket or whatever they call it. But it's an interesting game. And as a basketball player, it's like I have a side of me that thinks I can play. But, I would like to try that.
Goods, what you got?
Yo, it's kind of track and field with a shot put low key dope to me.
What?
Yo, I love watching the shot put. I think it's have you ever, I don't even know what they call that joint, the ball, whatever it is they throw on or whatever it is. Like, I think it's dope. I think it requires technique, strength, and I think it's one of those sports where it doesn't matter to me if it's women, men, whatever it is. Like, I think it's dope. I like watching the shot put.
I mean, I can respect both of those answers. Let me tell you why you're both wrong. Because it's water polo, without a doubt. And I feel like Rich, you've never watched water polo. No, everything that Rich is saying about handball applies to water polo.
I'd rather watch handball than water polo.
No, bro. When you talk about
water polo's handball is like handball
underwater. Exactly.
That's why it's boring.
No, that's why the strength is crazy. You got to be swimming, having a grown man trying to drown you. Whole time you got to try and get the ball past the goalie. The net's a little bit smaller. It's like wrestling in the water with hand soccer. That's probably the craziest sport that I've ever. The endurance for that has to be crazy. I think they might be some of the most underrated athletes in the world. Because that
in the water though.
Just don't do that at Michael Phelps. Don't do that because you just said you're talking about everybody can run. They really swimming while someone's trying to drown them while boxing out. It's like lacrosse mixed with wrestling, mixed with handball. That joint is crazy.
Nah, I'd rather watch shot put.
I'm just saying from a standpoint, just like myself, if I pick that Phelps is the most, impressive athlete to me, but I'm picking a sport that I want to watch is going to be track. But you're saying boat is the most impressive, but you want to watch in the water. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I thought you would have picked
the mental. I see, and I should have known the mental gymnastics that you just did to get to that is unbelievable. I respect it though, because I see where you coming from. It didn't make no damn sense, but I see where you're coming from. No, yeah, yes and no, yes and no. But respect to you. Respect for trying to twist that, man. Respect for trying to twist that. We did best non-basketball Olympic athlete, right? Y'all both said Phelps. That's cool. I guess suppose that's fun for the show. And so let's move on, man. Let's go to the NBA draft. Let's talk summer league. Get into the nuts and bolts of why we here. So I guess the first question that we're gonna start off with is one that I know is I think Rich will be excited to get into this. But is the NBA draft process broken?
The guest goes first again, huh?
The guest always goes first, man. 1, 2, 3.
Absolutely, it's broken. I think for many reasons it's broken. It's broken from a standpoint that the trend of going for younger players, I don't think is the answer for you to develop a better team. And also, why can you not, as a player, have more control over where you get to go? I mean, you're just on the clock for 5 minutes or whatever it is between teams, and then you find your fate in a 2-hour show of where you're going to play. I mean, why don't you get more of a chance to pick where you get to go to start your professional career? Because we all know from the draft process, one team or another can change the whole trajectory of your professional livelihood. So for me, I just look at it and I say the pressure that comes with top picks, and if that same pick was picked 20 picks later, just because of the team that took them, you wouldn't put the same pressure on them. They're not going to contribute anymore like top picks used to. I think it's time for a new system. I think that it's too much that goes into it just for entertainment value rather than the game.
I don't know. I think that taking young players, I thought it was stupid, but then I was talking to somebody and they had like a stat of players that were over, I think like over 22 years old, and like something with their success rate in the NBA, and it was pretty bad. And it kind of, at that point for me, it kind of made sense why the NBA is going younger. I think we look at it now, we seeing a lot of young guys that aren't contributing, but I think at the same time we lose sight of, let's say, the older seniors that are getting drafted that aren't contributing, and then that fizzle out a lot sooner than some of the young players. I don't have the stat handy, but it's it was kind of crazy when it was brought to my attention a few weeks ago. Good.
How far does that stat go back?
I don't remember.
It has to be in the last 20 years. Can't be.
Yeah. It has to be. It has to be within probably. I would say it's probably within the last 15.
All right. So I guess my biggest question today, I would have two questions. My biggest question, one to your stat goods, is what is the correlation to where those older guys got drafted? Like, did they get drafted in the second round? Did they get drafted late in the first round? Because we all know that, if they get drafted in the second round, chances are they're gonna fizzle out. So if you take them in the first round, you take them 15th overall, and you put resources into them, then they're gonna do better. Like, that's just we all know.
But I mean, I think on average, there's at least three, probably like 3 to 5. Let's say 3 to 5 seniors that get drafted in the first round, probably on average, right?
I can think of off the top of my head, like who comes to mind? Like Frank Kaminsky comes to mind.
This past year, I guess you have Zach Edey.
Well, who is the year prior? I guess. See, this is but prior to this year, prior to this 2023 draft, once we get our budget up, we're gonna hire a stat boy for all this. But from the 2023 NBA draft, who do you recall that was older?
Oh man,
I guess you probably should even go back further. Probably should go back to 2022, right? Like, if we're really trying to break it down. But I'm trying to think of older. Jamie, how long was Jaime Jaquez in college?
He was old.
He was old. Brandon.
Nah, he wasn't that old. I think Brandon had 3 years in
college.
College, yeah.
That's old. 3 years in college is old.
Yeah, okay, but he wasn't as old as Jaime.
Chris Murray was old. No, not Chris Murray. The other brother. What's the one in?
Yeah. You talking about
in Sacramento?
Yeah, Chris Murray.
No, the other one in Keegan. Keegan Murray was old.
Keegan wasn't as old as Chris.
Keegan was 3 years.
Jaime Jaquez was a senior. Yeah. Marcus Sasser was a senior.
Yeah.
Keegan Murray was a senior, right? Or was he a junior?
Keegan wasn't a senior. I think Chris was a senior. Chris was a senior.
And Keegan had to be at least a junior. He played 3 years. He had to play 3 years.
But like, if he was a junior, but what I'm saying is like, I think that
sophomore.
I think that analytics. I think the NBA teams are heavily driven by analytics, and from what I know, the analytics suggest that younger players fare better in the NBA than older players that are drafted.
But how do you feel as a player about that. I mean, because when I look at it, I say, why can't a 22-year-old develop? You're so far at 22 years old from being a finished product. We all know that you're not even close to your prime when you're at 22. You got several years to contribute. And as far as like, you might be better served to help a team in some capacity right now at 21, 22 than you are at 18.
Okay, I got you. I got you right here though. So this is what I think. So let's just say a kid's leaving high school at 17, 18 years old or whatever, right? He does his 1 year of college. He's had 1 year of probably, working out, getting shots, having resources around him to get better. He's had 1 year. Whereas you take this junior that's been in college 3 years, 4 years or whatever, let's just say that they're shooting the same percentage from, let's just say 3-point line, a junior versus a freshman. I think that you could project out like over the next 3 years, if they're at the same level of shooting, freshman to a junior, I believe that the freshman has more room to grow because he hasn't had the resources for the same amount of time that, let's just say, a junior at Wisconsin. Well, no, Wisconsin's trash, but like, let's just say like at a Stanford, you know what I mean, where he has the top notch.
I know you're not doing that.
Hey, you don't want to get into this conversation about the pros.
Yeah, let's stay on. Let's stay on task.
Let's stay on task.
Y'all still riding the Lopez twins coattails, but stay on task.
Yeah, all right, Dwight Powell. But anyways, yeah, I just feel like a young kid, let's just say that's 18 years old, 19 years old, he hasn't had elite resources around him for as long. So I think that there's so much more room for improvement. Whereas when you take a senior or a junior, chances are they've been in the weight room, for X amount of years. They've had coaching staffs and rebounders and everything else around them for so long. I just don't think it's as likely that they're going to improve as much as somebody that is just now getting that type of attention.
Wait.
To what degree?
Yeah, wait. Hold on.
I'm just saying, just off shooting though. Like, think about it. How hard was you really working on your game coming out of high school compared to like when you were in college and then moving forward?
Wait, what? I was working on my game more. I mean, not because of injury, working on my game more after, like probably after my sophomore, junior year, more so than ever, and then into my pro career.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Later in life, you really started working on your game. Working out wasn't even a thing when we were in like high school like that.
Nah, that's not true. That's not true.
Compared to now? How is it
not?
Nah,
that's I mean, for generally speaking, maybe, yeah, because all they do.
I agree. I'm a little older though, so I do agree. We were playing pickup.
Yeah,
no, I generally agree.
We were just hooping. We didn't.
That's still a part of working on your game. Like you can't just say training is the only form of working on your game. No,
it's not. But it's getting up shots. If you're a shooter and you're not shooting X amount of shots a day, like if you take a kid that's used to let's say a 200 shot a day diet, right, and then you crank that up to 500 or 1,000, you think he's going to improve as a shooter?
Probably.
Okay, probably. So what I'm saying is you got a kid that's been on this, let's say this 1,000 shot diet for 1 year. Over the next 3 years, I anticipate if he's shooting the same percentage as a junior is shooting on that 1,000 shot diet, and he's been doing this for 3 years, I think he might have tapped out already.
He might, but that's just probably going to be most players younger are not going to shoot better than the experienced guy. So if that guy he probably deserves to be picked. But I would look at it more from a standpoint of this. It's 30 teams, 15 jobs, 450 jobs out there, 60 picks every single year, and 30 of them in the first round. I can't be ever told that 30 guaranteed guys plus another 10, 15 that make the roster, that those 40 guys in are better than 40 guys going out that were just established in the league last year. And then when you look at the other thousands of players that are playing abroad, I just cannot ever be sold that some kid who's a freshman or came from whatever circuit is better and ready for a spot in a jersey than someone else that's ready to help your team. If we're talking about having the best team. So that's the only reason when I look at it, I say maybe 25, 30 years ago, you're drafting players all throughout the first round, and college players or young players or anyone in the draft is going to come onto your roster and change it. I mean, think about our childhood. You think about guys pick number one, lottery picks, Chris Webber, Shaq, Penny Hardaway. You come into the league and you're changing franchises immediately. I don't know if we're seeing that now with top picks. It still takes time. So if it takes time, why not let them develop in college and get someone who's going to help you with your team now? That's just the only mindset that I have. Because we all know when you're looking at the Olympic preparation games and whatnot, it's players all over the world that can play and can contribute. So to take a spot from someone who probably can help a team right now, I just don't understand it anymore. I might have understood it well before my time of getting drafted, but now when I look at the talent and the reps that guys have had, the adversity that they go through, the winning, because that doesn't matter anymore, which was a huge factor. You know, when I was coming through getting drafted, we all had the mentality to say, man, I might enter early, but I think maybe if I go back to college and we go to a Final Four, we'll win a conference championship, that'll boost my stock. That has nothing to do with your stock anymore. So how can you say that that has a player who's never won, never done anything significant, is going to help your team win games if that's what matters?
I just want to go back to this whole theory because this is still blowing me. You're talking about a freshman who's going to shoot 45%, right? Versus a junior who shoots 45%. And you're saying that the freshman has more room to grow. That's the basis of the argument. That's it.
That's what I'm saying.
That's it. So
no, because it's like if you're spinning, let's say, okay, first round pick, right? So you're guaranteed you're locked in with this individual for 4 years, possibly, right? So if you're investing 4 years, let's just say the junior, right? He spent 3 years shooting, working out, doing all this other stuff, and this is his finished product, 45% or whatever from the field, whatever it may be, right? Whereas I got a freshman, he just transitioned into a new league that's a step above from wherever he came from. He's just now getting these resources, and he's shooting the same percentage as that junior. I will make the 4-year investment on the younger guy.
Are you taking into account the kind of threes he's taking? Or are you just looking at the
everything? I'm just saying
percentage?
if everything's equal.
But everything's never just equal. Nothing is ever just equal.
What I'm saying, okay, but that's the eye of the beholder. But what I'm saying
it's not. No, it's not.
It ain't.
It's because nothing is ever equal. Like nothing is. You know this. What do you mean?
Yeah. Okay. But what I'm saying is for the sake of the argument.
But the sake of the argument.
Let's say they're taking more or less the same type of threes, right? They're shooting the same amount of threes.
They not, because the junior probably has a bigger responsibility on the team. The junior's probably got to take.
We don't know that.
No, but we know that because the argument is rooted in reality and we have common sense. Like you know that Zach Risache, right? He's not taking threes behind screens like that. He's not taking threes off the dribble. He was taking a lot of catch and shoot threes that Axel was creating, that all his teammates, and that's okay. Like he was still a great player, but to say like, oh, because he shot 40% and then a junior shot 42% or even 39 because he's got to shoot behind the screen, he's got to be the man, to say that he has more room to grow as a shooter is a bit asinine. That's a little bit crazy.
How is it?
Because he's not, because it's not, because you're sitting here saying, first of all, the dude who's a junior, if that's the case, if he's shooting 40 off the dribble, then you low-key got to make the assumption that if you let him spot up and shoot, he probably could shoot 46. Because off the dribble is a tougher shot. So, like, if that's no, for most people, it is.
For most people,
it is. So, if that's what I'm saying, you can't just. It's got to be more complex than that. Like, and I'm sure it is. I'm not.
Yeah, for sure.
To just sit here and say, oh, this dude shoots 40% at 18, and he's 6'9" and has a long wingspan.
Okay,
he's got
but
more
what
room
I'm saying
to
is
grow.
all those things are more or less the same. If they're around the same neighborhood, let's just say they're shooting around the same amount off the dribble, the same amount off the catch, whatever it is, they're at the same exact place. One's 2 years older than the other. I would invest in the younger guy.
But I think that you do in that situation, but I think that goes more into Rich's point where the younger guys typically they're not the better players and they're not doing those things. Typically speaking, they're just not like.
And not only are they not doing it, but why is there this notion that a guy who's a senior in college is old? Like you look at this Olympic team.
Old. Like
it's not,
you can get better.
But it's just like if you get past your sophomore year, it's like your draft status has dropped significantly. Unless you're like the national player of the year, you still might be a second round pick. So I'm just looking at it from a standpoint. we send our best players over to the Olympics, and they're all old. I mean, so why do you think that these people who are 21, 22 are like past their developmental prime? It's like they still got another 10 years, really, to like still get better. That's my only thing with it. It's like, why does everyone think that older college players are done with their development? It's ridiculous. Like, you have so much time to get better. I mean, I didn't hit my prime until maybe, I don't know, 27, 28, but the NBA ship has sailed at 21. You got one crack at it, and you're not, everyone makes their determination on who you are, and you're a totally different player from what you were at 21 for the one shot you got.
It's become more of a hot, like hockey and NHL. You get drafted by year, and you get drafted at like 18, and there's still ways into the NHL. But to draft someone at 18 years old and like judge people, that's crazy, because there's so much that goes into that. Like, shit, who was born at the beginning of their year? If it's drafted by like physical, most people aren't done growing, like physically, mentally, like. So if you want the best product, so here's, I didn't even answer the question. Let me answer the question. I don't think the NBA draft process. Go ahead and you can chime in and say you're a little smart ass. Right. You tend to not really answer the question. Right. Yeah. I was thinking that. Well, I also forgot.
You skipped right over mine earlier and just went to
my other title is moderator, so I also, I get to kind of pick and choose. But that being said, I don't think the draft process is broken, because you also have to take into account the scope of what the NBA is, which is the draft is there to find the next star, and there's summer transitions into summer league, and it's supposed to be a spectacle. It's entertainment. So the process is not broke for what the NBA is meant to be. However, if you're Richard Hendrix and you are a basketball purist, and I love the game as well, but if I'm also the mindset, get right or get left. So if, you got to get with the times, I don't think it's broken, but I do think that the product could be improved with I don't agree with you should take younger guys. That's correct. Like, because like that whole thing is crazy. I think you should take the best player. I think you should take the best player available, especially after 15 to 20.
I think you should eliminate it. Because
I don't think you can eliminate it. Because how do you? I'll let you speak. My bad to interrupt you, but how do you eliminate the draft? But what if Rich wants to go to Charlotte and give me another big in your class?
That was so long ago, man. Come on.
All right. Well, I know you didn't forget. I know you remember who got drafted.
I know the whole
51.
draft. The Lopez twins. You can say the Lopez twins.
Okay,
who got drafted to Wisconsin that year?
Huh? Orlando Tucker.
No, not that year.
Not that year.
Nobody.
Okay.
Nobody that year. He thinks that Stanford has a good basketball program. Is mind-boggling.
We got more pros than y'all in the last 20 years.
But you don't have a better basketball program. You don't have a better
pros. We got more pros than y'all.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad. How many pros y'all got in the last 20 years?
We got more than y'all.
How many y'all got?
We eclipsed y'all.
How many y'all got?
I forgot how many it was.
Because I mean, that goes into another, no disrespect to my dog, love, Tyrell Terry. Draft him young, right? Draft him young, right? So
where is he from? Where is he from?
He's from Minneapolis, baby. Draft him young. He ain't from Wisconsin. But listen, let me right. Yeah, you thought. Anyway, Rich, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you. Eliminate the draft process.
I mean, literally, you mentioned you played with Brooke Lopez, right? Like, he came out in 2008 in my draft. He was everybody thought he was going to be like a top 3 pick. He fell to 10. For what reason? Like, just because you're saying pick the next best player available, he might have been the best player available, but if the teams don't have you as a fit, you're not going to get picked. And the number means so much in basketball. Like, it's not like other sports. It's like we all judge players based on what number they're picked. If someone is the 5th overall pick, you look at all the 5th overall picks over time and you make a judgment off of that. You don't look at it and say, hey, he was picked by the Kings and the Kings had the 5th pick. You look at it and say he was the 5th pick, and you expect 5th pick expectations when you go back to all of the teams. But it might have just been the team that wanted you or the team that had a fit for you. And, just like it is in Europe. There's no draft in Europe. Somehow they figure out a way to fill the roster every single year with free agents all over the board, and you get what you need, and everybody gets what they need out of it. But you see these guys sitting in the green room, and they're sitting there like a Kyle Filipowski, who's a great player, and then he doesn't get picked, and he has to come back the next day. And now that whole stigma and shame goes with him the rest of his career, from being a second-round pick who, quote, fell in the draft for whatever reason. And the guy should have just been on the team that he needed to be fitted with so he can confidently play his game. And the psychological aspect and the criticism is totally thrown out the window. And just put the teams together. I mean, because you're picking players just to pick them. That's just how I view it. Because, you know, someone's going to look at a player and you're going to say, just because they're picked at this number, they must have been better than the guy who was picked after. And we all know that's not the case at all. So I just think that you could get a better product if teams could somehow just allocate whoever they wanted from whatever pool there is and just say, hey, we got our 15. Even if it means keep the same 15 we had last year. Why not? It'll work. There's some way you can work a number out. Why do you have to pick a player is the question. Why do you have to? And if I was probably a GM of a team, if the draft was weak, I'd be trading it every year, probably. I mean, unless I knew I had a generational guy that I knew I could get, I'd probably trade it every year, just from a team perspective.
I actually agree with that. And me and Rich, we probably get fired, but that's all right. We go out swinging. So we go out doing it our way. That's all right. But no, listen, before we move, last thing, I think the NFL, I don't think the draft needs to be gone. I think the NFL has it right. I think the NFL they picked the best available or try to pick the best available player, and they pick based off need. And I think that's kind of what you're talking about in a sense, is like you pick the guy who you best think can fit your system, which the NBA just, you know, right now they all drafting wings, like 6-7 wings, just trying to find the next Tatum or the next Zaire Williams, because Stanford, shout out Stanford.
And it's viewed also, Jordan, it's also viewed, if you're the first running back pick, it doesn't matter if you're the 24th pick. You were the first running back pick because you were the best running back available. Right. If they didn't need a running back on the other teams, then, you know, they don't look at it and say this guy went number 6. No, he's the first round pick of that team. He was the first pick of that team. I would also say in the NBA, the other thing I would say, I'd look at baseball and the baseball model, especially with the underclassmen. Eliminate the process of having to apply for the draft. Like that responsibility shouldn't be on the kid. You should just be going to class, playing ball, and the draft comes, they should call you up and say, hey, Jordan, this is whatever team we're picking you with the 42nd pick. Do you want this position or do you want to go back to school? And you should have a choice. You shouldn't have to say, I'm going to enter the draft, see what happens. Then I don't get picked. Now I can't go back to school. Now I'm embarrassed. Now I got to play on a summer league team I don't want to play on. And
now you're a monster in the G League.
Yeah,
now you're a monster in the G League, playing with a chip on your shoulder, and you get it in the hard way.
Come on. And it's
the only time the NFL gets it wrong is with the quarterbacks. I think like they be reaching for them quarterbacks.
Get quarterback happy, trying to get one on the roster.
Yeah. They be all one of these days. 20 of these first round picks gonna be quarterbacks just cause. So, but look, we got to move on real quick before we move on from the NBA draft. I want to touch on, because, you know, Rich is a budding media personality. I hope to reach his heights one day. And I know, Goods, you also have are a media mogul in your own right. So TNT versus Amazon, what y'all think? Quick response. Rich, you got it first.
Do I have to go first every time? Can I?
Yeah,
can
you do. You the guest
order?
until you're a regular. Until you're a regular, you go first.
My goodness. See how y'all
1, 2, 3.
Listen,
Yep.
I'll say this. I mean, obviously, it's just iconic watching those guys on TNT. I mean, your whole life, you know, me being one of those, as you mentioned, the purists, you like watching the games on that network and having the crew they have before in the pregame, halftime. I mean, it's amazing people even stay up late into the night to watch and hear what they got to say. It's just something about all of that coming together with that particular network that just makes you feel a certain way about the game. So, I mean, if there's going to be a change. I mean, so it's going to be something that's going to be hard for us guys to swallow, but they'll pivot somehow.
Amazon or die, man. I think it's the right move. I think it's the right move because I think when you think about the entity that Amazon is, and obviously the NBA is a business moving forward. I think 10 years from now, TNT might be extinct. TVs might be extinct. I don't think streaming. I don't think streaming. I don't think Amazon will be extinct in 10 years. I think we like ordering items off of Amazon and then getting them within, a matter of hours. And however the NBA ties into that, as well as other revenue streams, I'm sure they're going to figure that out, or they probably already got it mapped out with Amazon. But I like the move. It's something different, but we'll forget about it in, by November. And I think everybody will adjust. TNT was iconic, going back to, at least the 90s from when I remember it, but it's a new day. And I think people consume television and sports in a new way. So I'm with it.
You done sold out to the man. You done
You
sold out to the
damn right.
man.
You
You
damn
done
right.
sold out to the man. You
damn
done.
right.
I got on here wanting to disagree with Rich so bad for the next hour and a half. But you know what? TNT. Listen, if you build it, they will come. The NBA has built their product. Wherever they put it, people gonna come watch it, and people gonna be in demand of it. Whether TNT goes out of business tomorrow, 20 years, 20 days, somebody gonna come get the NBA product, and they gonna pay for it. So I think the NBA, to me, I love the NBA. They need to stop with the purely business model. Like, you got to keep some. So where's the nostalgia? You got to keep
these
come
guys
on,
are
man.
getting paid $500 million.
Exactly.
And it's gonna be $1 billion soon. So
exactly.
Let's just keep making money. Let's just keep making money.
You can give some love back to the fans, man. You gotta show the reason they're making.
That's why you got TBT. That's why you got TBT. And you got the London Lions on Bally Total Sports.
Look at you.
So you got
we
your
lost that deal.
On.
They messed it up. Shout out 777. But listen,
Right.
yeah, man, you got to show some appreciation to the fans at some point, man. Like, you can't just be the NBA was built on a league of the people, like marketing players. This is a league for a certain community. But then as it grew, it was like, this is the people's league. The players are marketable. It's fun to go to the game. And now it's just turning it into a big conglomerate, like, which is fine. Like, I get it. Money is money. But this clearly, you was getting the same money. I'm sure there was little caveats in the deal that were different at Amazon. But, like, come on, yo. Like, just show it. Throw us a bone. Throw us a bone, man. Give us something. Like, like the basketball landscape as we know it is gone, which is great. Like, I think it's great because I think change is inevitable. But from high school to college to pros, the only thing still standing is the NCAA tournament. And they're trying to change that. And if they change that, like, come on, man.
It's a new day. Watch. Watch. I wouldn't be surprised within these next 10 years, you're able to watch a game, order a jersey, and bet on the game all on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, for sure.
In a matter of seconds. For sure. And I feel like the NBA is going to double their worth, and players are going to be getting billion-dollar contracts, and then all U2s on the media side are going to be making a nice chunk of change on Amazon Prime.
Man, look, I guess
calling the games. And y'all sitting here complaining. Y'all sitting here complaining like y'all.
It's gonna be more opportunity, especially I'm having a kid in London as well. So I'm gonna try. Sky Sports got a piece of that pie too. So call me. Listen, but let's keep it moving, man. USA basketball, man. We got to get to that. The Olympics opening ceremony started today. LeBron James was the flag bearer. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the flag bearer for Greece, and Dennis Schrader for Germany. But USA, man, what do we think of the exhibitions? Went 5-0, struggled here in London. I got a couple ideas as to why, but again, what do y'all think of the start?
Once again, back to me, huh?
Come on, man. You know the drill by now. You're a quick learner.
Listen, I'll tell you. I mean, obviously, and it's pretty cool to see. The collection of players that they have on this team. I mean, it's so I would like to see them play a little bit better basketball because I do think they are a little bit vulnerable. You see the games that they're having some close ones, obviously against South Sudan, Germany, but hopefully they're going to be able to rebound and do something. But this team, I think, is a team where you have the veteran players and the names. I'm not so sure if it was the best roster that you could possibly put. I don't know who you could have put out there, but I think that you definitely have the talented players. But it's going to be close. I don't know if they'll have a slip up, but it's going to be some close ones.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be some close ones, man. But I just think that the European game it's completely different from the NBA game, from the pace to everything. And I think the talent overseas has gotten better. I think that across the board, I think people shoot it better in Europe. And I think, if we look back to the World Cup games last summer, I think that's where USA struggled. I think it was rebounding and then, shooting the three. And then obviously the opponents being able to hit threes and play at their pace. But it's going to be a learning curve. And then when you got too many alphas on the team, it's like, I don't know. It's like, who do you defer to? And everybody's sharing the ball a little too much. I don't know, man. I think it's going to be, I don't think it's all of them are going to be a cakewalk. But I do think they end up winning it.
This is a cakewalk, man. They got this is the best team. This is not the best team that you could construct. Who else you want on the team?
Well, listen, I'm not saying it's not the most talented as far as resume is concerned. I'm saying if you're constructing a team, just like Goods just said, you got a lot of alphas on the team. You have to have some role players when it comes to winning teams and playing well. I mean, it's hard for people to make adjustments, even though they are the greatest players. Everybody's demand.
Listen, them boys was in the 22 in London. They was out. They was in Tate. They was in the 22. For y'all that don't know, them boys was living their lives. They was having the times of their lives in London, man. They wasn't thinking about them games. Kerr was doing platoon subbing, 5 in, 5 out. They was getting in shape, enjoying themselves, getting on this European time, warming up. These dudes are about to run these teams. It's gonna be a close game or two. But these dudes are about to run away with this gold medal. It's not gonna be close. The only thing I'll say, and it feeds right into our next question, is well, first of all, let me stop. You know who the alphas are too. It's clear who the alphas are. Whether they're gonna admit it or not, it's clear who people are going to defer to, and that's Bron, Steph, and KD. And then Ant just live in his own world where he gonna do his thing when it's his time. Like, so that's kind of
he's not deferring.
No, he's not gonna be out there. He's not gonna be out there with them like that. But when it's crunch time, if he ain't rolling, he's deferring. When it's crunch time, he's deferring.
Okay, so when you got KD, Steph, and Bron on the court, who's the alpha? Who's got the most usage?
Bron got the ball. Exactly what they did late in games. That's impossible to stop. Bron got the ball. Oh, 100%. Steph gonna run off this down screen. KD over here. All right, Bron gonna make a read. Get downhill. Watch out, man. Stop.
I get it. I just think that I think that there are teams that can play at that pace and keep it close and then slow it down defensively because of the rules.
Them dudes. All right, so let's go into the next thing. Who's the biggest challenge? Who can play at that pace?
Germany.
They'll beat Germany by 25 if they see them again.
So what do you think, Jordan, about the preliminary games? You think it's just the platoon subbing was the difference? You don't think from a standpoint of basketball, when you got alphas out there playing roles and now we're not going to platoon sub, and you got really good players sitting on the bench saying, why is he not going to me? You don't think that's going to impact, the roster as opposed to playing against teams where you got players knowing who the man is, know what my role is when I step into the game, and we have experience, and we're not intimidated because we play against these guys. It's not like they got players that's not in the league.
Cohesion is always a factor, obviously. I went to both of those London games in person, and they approached them games like they was playing Charlotte on a Tuesday night in December. So part of this, I'm gonna assume that when the actual but it's also they're also all vets. Majority are vets outside of Halliburton and Ant. I'ma just assume that when it comes time to strap them up in the actual games in the Olympics, their effort, their focus is gonna look quite a bit different. So maybe that might be my assumption. But them dudes was coming down, one dribble, come across, come off a screen, shoot it. Like they weren't even playing basketball. They was legit just hooping.
But that's how they play basketball.
No, it's not. No, it is not.
So
That's
do
not
you
how.
think do you think the defensive intensity will increase?
Yeah, I think the defensive intensity will increase. Yeah, the defensive intensity will pick up. I think that they don't play basketball. Like LeBron, KD, Steph, they don't play basketball. And in the past, when they've played in Olympic or international competition, they have not played basketball like that. Ant plays basketball like that. But a majority of them do not play basketball like that, especially at the highest level. They play like that when they just hooping.
You got to have some dirty work. Somebody's got to do some dirty work to win some games.
Yeah, that's why they got plenty of guys to do dirty work. That's what Drew there for. That's what Derek White's there for. Devin Booker was doing a little bit of dirty work. He was deferring quite a bit. They got the guys. I don't see. Like I said, they'll get challenged in a game or two, but just like they have in the past when they run through the group. And then, they beat Spain by 30, and then you see Spain in the championship, and all right, it's a 12-point game, it's a 5-point game, and then you win by 13. It's like, oh, we was close. Yay. Yay. Because I'm of the thought process that the world has not caught up to the US. I think that's a myth. I think it's overhyped. I think it's oversold.
I agree. But I think that the reason I say Germany is because I think Germany has enough NBA players and they have enough talent in the right spots that know their roles and they can play at that pace. Because when I was watching, and granted, that USA team at the World Cup was completely different than this one. But one thing I saw early was that teams that were trying to play at the USA's pace just couldn't keep up. They couldn't score at that rate. But then Canada and then Serbia was playing fast as all get out. And then Germany were able to keep up at that pace because they had guys that were used to playing at that pace. So that's where I say that I think a Germany or a Canada will be better suited to keep a close game with the U.S. as opposed to, let's say, I don't know, like Japan or somebody else.
I don't think Canada has a chance because I think Canada is too similar to the U.S. Like, I think they make the U.S. very, 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 very comfortable. And I think Germany, the reason they've had success is because, they have NBA guys, but they do play that European style, especially with Boast. He's running off screens. They're hitting the short roll, hitting the next pass. They're moving the ball. Germany gets in trouble when they take late game and Schroeder starts trying to take step back threes and playing one-on-one when everybody's switching. That's when Germany starts getting in trouble.
Hey, FIBA Schroeder different though.
Schroeder. When he was young, I wasn't like the biggest, but I think you talk about someone who's just gotten better and better and better and never really like,
with age,
despite his situation, with age, like, and he's been in bad situations, he's been in good situations, and he's always just solid. Like, so I think Schroeder, I think he's unbelievable, like one of the more underrated international players of all time, to be honest. Just considering.
What about the host country? What about the host country? They got a chance in it?
Nah, I ain't rolling with France.
You think so?
I mean, hey, I'm just saying, this the influx of the young talent coming in that everybody wants to see. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they're going to be spirited. That's for sure. It's got to count for something. They got a tough group, I guess. They're in the group with Germany.
They're going to find a way to lose to Spain again. They're going to find a way.
They always lose to Spain.
They just going to lose to Spain, like, just because. Oh, shoot. I don't know I want to know what their Olympic record is versus Spain.
Nah, France, Trick Daddy Dollars, man. They could be up 20 points in the gold medal game, and I feel like they'll find a way to trick that joint off.
Especially if it's against Spain.
Exactly. They Trick Daddy Dollars, man. They look great on paper.
Is Joel Embiid an asset or a liability to the squad?
I'll tell you one thing. If he's playing his best ball, I mean, that's Jordan. That's where the difference is going to be made right there. As you're talking about, they're going to be blowouts and cakewalks. If he shows up playing his game, healthy, can impose his will down low, stop with the outside shooting, just leave that alone, just be the biggest dude on the court down low, then the USA is not going to have any problem with anybody. But, if he's playing too much finesse, then I don't know if he's going to be one of the main guys out there on the court.
We'll see. I think, and you can't send that double neither. And I think Joel's gonna have I think he's gonna have a lot of one-on-ones. But I just worry about, in European basketball, you can't be in that deep drop, bro. You gotta be up, you gotta move them puppies, because they trying to shoot the three before anything else, a lot of these teams. So that's my only fear with Embiid being on the court. I think you kind of have to resort to playing NBA pick and roll defense, and I think that could get fried.
I think that you should. I disagree. What the lineup I want? They kept going with Bam and AD. I want to see Tyrese, Booker, and Tatum with AD and Joel Embiid. And I want to see them play some old school Serbian high pick and roll, hit the short roll, one guy in the dunker. If it's not there, swing it to the wing, empty side again, and just beat go at people. You long as hell, 6'7", 6'7", 6'6", and just beat teams up. And then you can play the drop, stay home, and so who's going to kill you in the mid-range? If somebody goes crazy, you pressure up the ball, stay home on the three-point shooters, force them everything to Joel inside. He's going to sit in the paint, whatever. And if someone's killing you in the mid-range, shoot, you got to adjust.
I think the drop can work. Because when you talk about the length and somebody who's fighting over the top with that type of size at the guard position, it's difficult with a guy putting that kind of pressure on you. You got some big, strong guards that can move their feet in the pick and roll. So you coming off of that, what they want you to do is to be in the situation where you got to rotate. And if he can stay back, them dudes are 7 foot. They got enough ability to still kind of contest. You're not going to get to the rack. It could be an effective strategy.
And then with the other group, I want Bam with Bron, Katie, Ant, and Steph. And Bam got to be out there active. We switching, hedging, rim running. Bam got to be he got to be like Matthias Lesort, like on steroids. He got to be doing all that. That's the turbo group.
And that's where I think USA wins, is when you force these Europeans, when you switch and pick and rolls and you force them to play one-on-one.
Yep.
I think that's where we excel, and I think that's where we win. I think you start making those you start putting them in drop coverage, and they're gonna pick that. They could pick that apart, and I feel like that's what they did last year with Jaren Jackson. They was in drop coverage, and with their bigs, and I felt like that hurt USA because they gonna set screens, and I get it. You 7 foot, but if you get nailed on that screen, that's an open shot. Yeah, but I think if you switching that joint and you making them having to play one-on-one against all that length, I think it's over.
I don't know. I feel like the kryptonite against the drop is going to be Germany, just because of Voigtman and what he does with the pop. Like that's tough to guard. But some of these other teams, man, you pressure. I think they just got pressure the ball. They got to be picking up like the old 2012 teams, picking up 94, picking up.
Oh, yes.
You got to go just pressure. Overwhelm these dudes. Like,
oh, yeah.
Overwhelm these dudes. Like, I feel like they almost too, like, I don't know. And that, I think you're going to see that, though. I really do think you're going to see that. I think that they're going to turn it on. I think they might hit a lull where maybe they get a little bored, whatever. Hopefully not. But yeah, I think
it's just an older team, though.
It's an older team.
39 pressuring. KD's what? 35.
Brown ain't pressuring nobody. Nobody.
Well, he was back in 08.
He was in 2012 too. That was that team with D. Yeah, that was OD. That was OD. But they still got Drew. Drew still pick up at 35. He still pick up. D. White gonna pick up. Book go pick up a little bit. Ant will pick up. They still got Tyrese gonna be out there. So yeah, they still got a couple things, but. Listen, man, before we close it up, let y'all go, man, just to introduce y'all newcomers. I don't know how many on here, all 3-4 of y'all. To newcomers is Paycheck Rain Check, man. That's brought to you by Anthony Goods, man. Go ahead, take that away, man. Go ahead.
Nah, Paycheck, Rain Check. Somebody's paycheck is taking a rain check, man. I'm gonna give a shout out to my man Sasha Vazenkov, turning down that $6.6 mil in Toronto and picking up 5 or 20 mil, 5 years, 20 mil. Oh, back in Olympiacos. It may sound like a loss, but it's definitely not when you factor in taxes and everything else he might have to go to. But man, shout out to Vezenkov coming back home where he belongs. Because I mean, I didn't necessarily like the move to the NBA to begin with, but he's a highlight of today's show. What you think about Sasha's move?
I'll take the pressure off you, Rich. Don't worry about it, man. Look, shout out to Sasha, because get your money for sure. Get your money. But I said it I've been saying it for a couple years now. Worst thing you can be is an American basketball player, man, because it's the most competitive landscape you got. And at the end of the day, you still got to work your way up in Europe. Europeans, man, boy, they do their thing. Go to the NBA, don't work out, walk right back into 20 million, man. Go
right into it,
man. And deservedly so for Sasha. He is an unbelievable player. He's he did his thing. He earned everything he's got in the EuroLeague. But boy, let me tell you something. Don't work like that for us folk.
He's where he should be. I think his game fits better in the EuroLeague. You got to be comfortable as a player. I mean, he never really looked comfortable at all with the Kings. I mean, when you watched him, I mean, and that's so much of it. I mean, it's a transitional thing for them too, coming over to another country. You got to be comfortable. But I mean, man, all the best to him. Going back to where he can feel like he's a part of a team in your prime too. When you're in your prime, man, you want to be the guy. I mean, so if you can get paid and be the guy, that's what you need to do. He got his NBA taste or whatnot. He's a part of it, so he's good.
I mean, and I think, we all know how firm these contracts are. But has an American ever signed a 5-year deal in EuroLeague?
Oh, wow, I've never heard any more than a 3.
Listen, man.
Yeah, Childress signed 3.
The all-time leading scorer in EuroLeague history just got his first MVP this year. So, I mean, how many? There's been three American MVPs in EuroLeague history, and one of them or two by the same person. This is the first American EuroLeague MVP in 20 years. Yeah. So, hell no, of course not. But what my question is, what would happen should the NBA put restrictions on who can play in that league? Should you have to have a certain amount of Americans in the NBA?
A certain amount of Americans? What you mean?
Should you have to have 6 Americans on the NBA? Yeah. Should you have a quota in the NBA? Yeah, on the roster. You only get 5 international guys on an NBA roster.
Are there multiple teams with 5? We're talking a 15-man team. I mean,
all right. Well, you only get, let's just call it Spain. You only get 3 international guys on an NBA roster, max.
Okay.
Should the NBA do something like that?
Unless you're gonna make them local guys.
Can you still call it the best league in the world if the NBA did that?
Yeah.
No, they got to open it wide open. I mean, listen, let the best competition, like I said with the draft, it's the best league. Open the competition up, let the best players get the opportunities. That's what it needs to be more than anything. I mean, I don't care where they come from, but if you're proving it's just like you talk about Vezenkov, he should have been in there. He should. If he's a EuroLeague MVP, you're one of the best 450 players in the league in the world. You should be in there.
Here go plot twist. You win the EuroLeague MVP, you get a automatic bid for a vet minimum, and you enter into the draft for the following year.
At any age?
At any age.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Why would you do it?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? You want the best players in the league, in the best league.
No,
right?
I'm saying, why would the MVP do that?
Why would he leave?
Why would he take a vet? What's a vet min?
Okay, not the vet minimum, but let's just say NBA equivalent contract. Yeah, NBA equivalent contract, guaranteed. NBA equivalent to whatever he was making.
Yeah, I mean, look, shouldn't Mike James have? How old is Mike now? 31.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
It doesn't matter.
He should have 3 for 30 in the NBA right now, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he have 3 for 30? Or what did Sasha get? 3 for 21?
Sasha,
something like that.
Yeah. It was it was 18, I thought.
Okay, why does Mike
Yeah.
James not have 18 to 24 million guaranteed in the
20.
NBA right now?
He definitely should have. I think one other thing I think is a
Maybe he
joke.
did.
One other thing I think is a joke is the notion that they feel like the ball dominant players, the star players, can't play roles.
Yeah.
It's like you're picking a guy who you can say this guy's a spot shooter, but the guy who's more getting player usage with the ball can't be a spot shooter, but he's the same caliber of shooter as the spot shooter. Like, why can't he be in that role and get that spot?
Exactly what they do in college. They minimize your role.
Yeah, the high usage guy, we say we don't think he has a role on this team, but the specialist has a role. But the high usage guy can shoot just as well as the specialist. He gets penalized for being able to do 4 and 5 other more things than the other guy. I mean, I don't understand it. So if you do have a guy like a Mike James, you say, hey, we don't have enough balls for him, to come play with the other stars on the team. It'd be better we'd sign the guy who's a spot-up shooter. You don't think he can catch and shoot? And why wouldn't you want a guy who can catch and shoot and also do other things when you need it?
That goes back to the original conversation about taking the best player in the draft. But listen, and maybe Mike James does have those offers. Maybe he just didn't take it. So some of this is conjecture. But we'll leave it right there, man. Look, Rich, we appreciate you coming to join us, man, for the inaugural live episode of the Role Player Podcast. We know you'll be back. We're looking forward to it. For everybody out there watching, you didn't catch the live version, go check it out. We'll be streaming on YouTube. Go peep it. Follow us. Follow along. Follow the journey. And we'll keep trying to bring some decent to dope content your way, man. I'm Jordan Taylor, Anthony Goods.
We're back on Sunday. We back on Sunday.
We
USA
back.
Game.
Yeah.
Game.
Yeah. We're gonna publicize this time. But yeah, thank you, Anthony Goods, Richard Hendrix, and we'll see y'all next time.
Yes, sir.